What is going on, Blurverse? My name is RJ.
My name is Hero Harrison, aka Jay.
And it's me, Big T, Trey.
And welcome back to another episode of For the Blurture. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is now streaming on Disney Plus. Episode 1, New World Order. We have joining us today a very special guest. You know him, he's a friend of the show. Everyone, please welcome DonMega. What's going on, man?
DonMega in the house. What up, y'all? Glad to be back.
Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Don. Welcome back, bro. Welcome back. I know we've been wanting to have you on the show for a while. We finally got you on for I was about to say, for WandaVision, and we're glad you came back to join us to break down this episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So before we start, I just want to get everybody's overall thoughts on episode 1. We know this was a lot of setup. We know that we weren't going to get, a banger right out the gate. So I'm going to start with our guests. What were your overall thoughts on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1, New World Order?
All right, so Zack Snyder's Justice League. I mean, dude, it was so. Oh shit! Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Wrong show.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Shit! I knew that was gonna happen. So I'll say this: I'm glad WandaVision went first. I'm gonna preface that, because if this was the first episode out the gate of our first Marvel thing that we've got in over a year, I think I'd be extremely disappointed. Right? Because remember, when we got WandaVision, we hadn't seen anything from Marvel for over a year. So, we were hyped. And then remember, Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be first. So if this was the first thing I got, I think I'd be really disappointed. Overall, I did like the episode. I liked the moments. I liked the way it was going. It's just a very uneventful episode, to be honest. I felt like it went by real quick, as these Disney Plus shows go. I mean, when you minus out credits, I felt like it was really short. Like Kevin Feige was like, Falcon and Winter Soldier is only 6 episodes because they're hour long a piece and all this stuff. This was not an hour long. This was like 35 minutes. So I don't know where that all came from. So I felt it went real quick. It's a very slow moving episode. We come right out the gate with a banger. A hell of an action scene, and I was really, really stoked and glued to the screen. And then after that action scene, it just not much really happens after that. Like, we don't even see Falcon and Winter Soldier together in this episode, so nothing really starts to come together yet. Good moments, and I didn't hate it by any means. I think a culmination of just the hype of WandaVision, where we kind of, we were so stoked week after week after week on that. And then obviously having the Snyder Cut a couple days ago and the mega epicness of that maybe this just felt a little like I walked away like, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I'm sure it's going to get great. I have no doubt. I'm not losing faith in it by any chance. I think as the weeks go on and as we ramp up, we're going to get some really cool stuff. But this was a pretty just kind of start for me,
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Don. It's just, coming out this Snyder's Cut Justice League high is kind of like, I still thought you already know, Don. I think that, I still enjoy the episode. I think there's still a lot to talk about. I honestly think that, but I do agree that I think that if this came out for some people, it would have been like, but I still think that, there wasn't a lot of information in this episode, as Don was saying, although we still got some pretty cool action scenes and we still got some background on what's kind of going on and what's going to happen. I think in the end, we're going to get something great. So I'm excited.
Okay. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I do think that nothing super eventful did happen. I do agree with y'all, but I like that we got to see more story of Falcon because we haven't really touched on him that much yet, and we get to see a little bit more on Bucky and what he's going through, and also that just intro scene action was just dope. I really enjoyed that, and we got another reintroduction of Batroc the Leaper, which
Batroc is back.
Which I just think he was really good in Winter Soldier for the short time he was in there, and I thought that was they brought him back.
Okay. All very, very fair points of view. I have to say that I agree with you guys across the board. Even in the group chat when we were talking earlier, I had mentioned, I said, hey guys, I don't know what we're gonna tonight's kind of, whatever, because the episode was uneventful. We were even debating whether or not we should even go live because it wasn't really a lot that, occurred. There wasn't a lot to talk about. But we did get a good, action sequence and a half. We did get some groundwork, as Takara has said earlier, that we're laying the groundwork, set up the story. So overall, I'll say that, being that if the Snyder Cut didn't come out, I'd probably be a little bit more hype, going off what Don said. But I feel like all my hype and my energy did go into the Snyder Cut because I watched that first. I could have very well just popped on Falcon and Winter Soldier first, but I've been waiting too long for that Snyder Cut not to watch that. First.
Oh, hell yeah.
We all have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I do agree with y'all. It's a very fair assessment of I was going to say WandaVision, of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And also, just to back up with one more thing what Don said, it's just that, we, besides Zack Snyder coming out that high too, we haven't had a movie since Spider-Man Far From Home. Mm-hmm. So, that's a long time. So I think that if, like I said, if Falcon was the first show, it'd be like, but WandaVision kind of picked back up, thank God, to move forward with the Marvel Universe as far as excitement. So that's a perfect start.
Yeah, definitely. So moving along, let's talk about, I guess how it all started, the action scene. Now, one thing I want to say that I enjoyed about this was I feel like being that it was made for TV, I feel like they didn't sacrifice the quality of the action scene, which is something that I appreciate. I feel like a lot of times when we get action scenes for TV, they're very watered down, they're very dry. Like, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., don't get me wrong, but I feel like some of those action scenes were made for TV. And I feel like we did get an action scene that was made for a movie theater experience, but we got it set on such a small stage. And I really appreciated just the way they opened up this with letting us know, like, WandaVision was good. There were some action scenes in there, but this is what Falcon and Winter Soldier is about. This is what I expected to see. And it did set the bar really high for the episode. And maybe that's another reason that contributed as to why we were kind of like, meh, for the rest of it. So what did you think of the action scene, Jay?
Honestly, I like what you just said a minute ago, as far as it's so impressive what you can do on a small stage versus what TV you have to have all this extravagant things on set to make it look good. But I think Falcon in this scene he showed up, man. He came through and he was not playing, and he took down everybody, and I just think that I have to agree with Trey. There's a lot of origin story told, and we got to see more action and more Falcon, and we're going to see him develop into Captain America because he knows. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but he knows he needs to be Captain America. So that's my opinion. But he's dope. I love it.
What about you, Don?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, I thought the opening sequence was fantastic. I mean, this was definitely the height of the episode, right out the gate with a banger. I mean, we've never seen Falcon be so badass. I mean, he's just, flying through helicopters and just weaving in and out of the mountains. And I mean, this was just a great scene. Like Trey said, good to see Backtrack the Leaper back. That was awesome. We had heard rumors that he was going to be in this, and right out the gate, boom, first episode, there he is. And so that was awesome. I mean, I think we all just got to get used to the fact that Disney Plus is spending the money. They got that cheddar, and they're doing it up. I mean, I think we're always so taken back when the effects are good on TV shows, because you're right. I mean, normally they're not, but that's also normal TV budget. Disney Plus said right out the gate, if we're going to do MCU stuff, it's got to be movie style, and that's the same thing for Star Wars. That's why Mandalorian looks so great. I mean, they're going top notch. They're spending the money, you're paying a subscription fee to get this stuff, and they're going to give you that movie quality. I mean, they're spending over $100 million an episode on these things. That's why they're only 6 episodes, because they're too much. But yeah, this was a great scene out the gate. I love the way his wings have kind of changed too. They were very more bird, on this, the way he was folding them and just the way he kept moving them into shields, and just everything he was doing with it was badass and just an awesome opening. I don't think they could have opened up the show any better than this scene.
Definitely a strong opening. What about you, Trey?
Man, I thought that this was a great intro for Falcon, because in previous movies, Falcon kind of getting his butt kicked. Like, he's not really doing too much to impress us. Like, he does some good stuff, I'm not gonna lie, but he's not that impressive. And this one, he comes out swinging. That training with Cap definitely paid off. And, you know, I also want to say, I'll probably talk about it later as we go on, but I get very Captain America Winter Soldier vibes from it, because in the beginning of Captain America Winter Soldier, he jumps out of the plane, no parachute, just like deuces.
Yeah.
And this one,
very
Falcon
much
does the same thing. He's like, all right, deuces, and goes on just.
And it's always that backwards fall too, right?
Yeah, I was about to say,
like Iron Man did it, Edward Norton did it in Hulk, you know, and here we go again. They love
it's a rite of passage. It's
I'm
a rite
gonna
of
fall
passage.
out. Yeah.
Yep, you have to.
I agree.
Really dope. What were you saying, Jay?
Oh no, I'm just saying I agree with y'all.
Yeah, definitely. That fall out the plane is badass. It's a rite of passage. You have to do it at some point. If you just don't exit no plane and be an Avenger. No, you have to fall out backwards. It's a given.
So, exactly, RJ. And so this episode is just so, how should I say this? It's so small of an episode with information that we got, but we still continue to move forward. As Trey's mentioning, like if you've seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier, things are kind of starting to connect because with Bucky's past, and you know we see him go into therapy and all that, and I think Bucky has a hard time still, obviously with his past, but I think he has a hard time with what he did to Captain America because he knows that's his best friend. So I think this whole therapy session is, you kind of see that he goes in, it's not really working. She's just like, okay, I'm gonna start writing stuff down. And he's like, okay. Like, I'll confess. And, you know, he just tells the whole story about what's going on in the past and what happened to him. And I wanted to ask you a question real quick, DonMega. So, but before I ask, in Captain America: Winter Soldier, Black Widow and Captain America have a conversation about encounters between the two with Bucky and Black Widow. She met him on a mission that they were doing. So we haven't been told a lot of information about that. I want to ask you, as far as this episode, do you think there's still something deeper besides Bucky reminiscing over the Avengers events?
I mean, obviously the big thing here is that he has that list, right? He's trying to make amends, and he's got the list of names that he's going through that either he's taking them out or he's, you know, getting them locked up. Like we saw that flashback he did with that couple in the car and kind of got them, you know, locked up. But then it seems like something was more with the Asian kid, right? You know, because he's looked at that list and that's his friend, that's his buddy that he's been kind of hanging with. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about it so far. I mean, there's definitely a lot behind it, you know, like what is this list? Like, where do these names come from? Like, why are these people important after all this time? That's, I think, what we need to find out, you know, where he's going from with that. But I did like the Winter Soldier kind of flashback. It was a cool little action scene too. Seeing him again with the mask and everything, straight out Winter Soldier style, just kicking ass, man. Just
do they sell that mask? I won't.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's so tight.
They probably do.
You know, yeah. So that was a really cool scene, you know, back. And then obviously, if you notice too, I think when he woke up from the nightmare, he was sleeping on the floor. So again, another kind of PTSD kind of thing, you know, of like not being able to sleep in the bed and it's too soft and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting.
Which also, that's another thing that they talk about in Winter Soldier, like at the beginning.
Yeah. Cap even has trouble sleeping on a bed. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like the whole situation of therapy is important because Bucky's been through a lot. You know, you have to think he's not just a warrior; he was brainwashed, and not only brainwashed, it wasn't like, oh, I was brainwashed for 5 or 6 years. This man is, you know, well, he's like 106. He was on missions for like 90 years or something like that, going from fight to fight to fight, never having a break. The only time this man has ever had a single ounce of rest, you know, since he, you know, started with, you know, whatever, was in Wakanda, and he said that. And I have to say this. Those of you out there who are in therapy, if your therapist ever tells you want a peace, is bullshit. Find a new therapist, because that pissed me off. He literally said he just wants peace, and she's like, bullshit. I'm like, what? What do you
can't do that?
Mean? Is he not allowed to want peace in his life? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like how she came at him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You got to be hard because sometimes your clients, your patients will lie to you. But for this man to outright say he just wants some peace after years of war, you call it BS. I wasn't feeling that. But one thing I wanted to also bring up too was the names on the list. I'm curious. I think Don, you said it. Who are these people? Why do you have to make amends with these specific people? Are these the only ones that are left that are alive? How did you get this list? How do you know where to find these people? And why are you going to make amends the way that you're making amends with Yuri? Are you going to, befriend everyone who you wronged and killed? So what makes Yuri? I don't know. I'm curious to see how he makes amends with everything that he's done.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. What about you, Trey? What you think about that, man?
Honestly, I really like the whole therapy scene. Just because it kind of shows what he's trying. He's kind of just going against. I can't get my words out. He's going the vigilante route, pretty much. Because giving like half truths, like, oh, I didn't really hurt anybody, and I kind of, but he kind of did.
And he cut to a scene where he's punching somebody in the face.
Yeah. I didn't interact with them like physically, but he like still kind of did, and he just kind of got him put away. But I just think that him making amends is really cool because that brings us into the people that he's wronged, like the fella that they showed a little earlier in the flashback that he was having nightmares of. We found out later that it's the kid that he probably killed was
Yuri.
Now his friend's son. Now he has to make amends with that, but he's having problems with that. So I think that that's really interesting. Brings another depth to the character.
Yeah, we don't really see too much of this. I mean, we see like serious conversations, but we never seen like a true therapy session with like an Avenger, so-called Avenger. It's just a really interesting, different take, and I enjoyed, digging a little bit deeper into the mind because this man has been brainwashed, conditioned, and all these kind of crazy experiments that have been done to him, and it's just. You kind of got to dig deep into that and get some kind of truth out because can't hold it in for too long. You're still human.
We don't get this a lot with heroes in general. We see them save the day. We see them save the world. We don't see what happens when they're done. And we'll talk about Anthony Mackie's character later and what he's going through.
Yeah.
We never get to see the side of things. We get to see the traumas, sometimes, but we never get an in-depth look of kind of what a hero has to go through the process of everything. You have to think about, even think about everything they went through with in Justice League. I don't know. I always have this thought, like, after you save the world, like, how do you sleep at night? Like, are you just exhausted and do you pass out? Are you traumatized? I'd be traumatized if I had to fight, demons flying around. I'd be traumatized if Thanos snapped to half the population away and we just had to save. Like, how do you deal with that after? So one thing I love about just these Disney Plus shows, even with WandaVision, we get to see the aftermath of what's happening and not just a new story with, very minimal character development. Because this stuff, if you apply to reality, if we were going through those things, I don't know how I would handle that personally. I don't.
Honestly, RJ, I would wake up and be like, oh, Mephisto.
Yeah.
Mephisto and the winter Mephisto. It's here. It's here. No, you're right though, man. I mean, that's what's cool about these shows is that we have time to let things breathe. We have time to learn about, the real life aspects, right? Who would have ever thought we'd see Falcon at a bank trying to get a loan, right? trying to, but then even the flip side of that, of like the banker being like a fan and being like, hey, can I take a selfie with you with the wings out? Like things like that would happen, that would happen in real life. And like,
for real,
you would never get moments like that. You would never get a therapy session, things like that, because movies are, we got 2 hours, we got to tell a story, we're in, we're out. Whereas now we get 6 episodes of where are these characters at? What are we dealing with? What are we living with? And we got a real deep side of that in this episode for sure.
And I think it's something we need to normalize is this version of like, long-term storytelling, not just squeezing everything into a couple of hours. And there's other ways to get, to add on to a story, whether it be through a comic book or, a television show or or additional end credit scenes. I think that, Marvel and DC, hopefully with the 4 hour or whatever Snyder cut, hopefully this kind of normalizes. It's okay to continue a story, even if it's a little long. It's okay. Because 10 years ago, we would have never thought we would have got a Marvel TV show with this big of a budget that dove that deep into Wanda. Now we're getting one for Falcon and Winter Soldier. And it is just, it's so, I'm grateful now that we get to see things like this take place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we kind of skipped a little small part in the beginning, so that's my bad. But I want to talk about Falcon not taking up the mantle. So that's really important to talk about because this is pretty much symbolizes the episode from this part into the end as well. So I think that we all saw that he walks up on the podium and we see that War Machine's there. I was like, oh, what's up, Don Cheadle? And he's announcing that he's gonna pretty much dethrone this shield. So no one should have it. But here's my problem with it. Now that you handed over this shield, Don, I see you smiling over it because I'm going with this. You just gave this up to government property. So that means it's going to be just twice as hard to get it back. Because it's like if I gave Don my brand new pair of or a brand new PS5, and I was like, oh, snap. Actually, you know what? I need that back. He'd be like,
yeah. No.
So I just think that it's interesting that he kind of just dethroned himself. But I want to throw this one to RJ. Do you think this is the right decision?
I'll say this. He did that wrong. When you give something to a museum, you can either put it on loan. You can, have it written up in the contract where this is still my property, however you're allowed to display it. I feel like he did that wrong, but that's neither here nor there. I feel like there's a plethora of emotions as to why he decided to give up the mantle. I feel like it was stress. It was pressure. You have to be the face of America. And let's face it, who says that America's ready to see a Black Captain America? We just don't know what was going through his mind. He had so many things racing through his mind. He's under so much pressure, stress. He'd been gone for 5 years. The world ended. It's just a lot of stuff going on through his mind. So I feel like I don't know why he didn't take up the mantle. I do feel like it was the wrong decision to make. I feel like, Captain America, if he trusts you with that power and with that mantle, I feel like he's not going to give it to someone who he doesn't think is ready. And I don't know if it's something to where, like how Thor went through that unworthy phase. Maybe he's going through something to where he feels unworthy currently. And maybe that's kind of contributing to him not wanting to take the mantle. But it pissed me off watching him give up the mantle. The whole speech irritated me. And yes. I get it, it's a symbol and blah, 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 blah. And all that other stuff.
You said it.
I wanted to throw hands. I'm like, what do you mean you want to give up the mantle? The shield is a symbol and blah, blah, blah. It's the people who prop it up and doing all of this stuff. And even I got to say, I was with Rhodey on that one when he was like, yo, let me holler at you for a minute. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, I'm with you, RJ. I mean to interrupt you. I just agree with you. You said it right the first time. Like I wasn't feeling it. That's my opinion.
Steal it back. I agree. To steal it back, and then they confront him, and he's like, "Do you have the shield?" And he's like, "What shield?" And he's holding it. Like, no, this is replica.
Exactly. Like, how you gonna? No, it doesn't work like that. But Trey, what you think, man? Like, do you think this is the right decision?
No, because regardless. It's something that Cap gave to him. He shouldn't. Maybe he could give him like a replica or something. He don't need to give him that shield, or he could make a speech somewhere. He needs to keep that shield because regardless, Cap gave that to him, and what he does with it should have been maybe to progress the legacy of Captain America, whether it be him taking the mantle or him finding someone new to take the mantle. It shouldn't have been something like that. Yeah. And that also kind of brings me to a question. that we haven't really seen, who do y'all think would be worthy to be Captain America? And I'm gonna throw that straight to Don.
No, geez. I had no time to process that question. Oh, God.
You got to
come Mephisto.
God, yeah. Oh, man. I mean, Vision? I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't know, man. That's a crazy question. I mean, it just goes back to the original question, which was just it should be Falcon. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, the question's already been answered by Cap going through that journey and coming back and literally saying it's yours now, and him even like in Endgame being like, feels like someone else's, and Cap says, but it's not, like he literally tells him like right away, it's not, like it's yours. So yeah, to me, that's what made this scene not work, was such an honorable moment. I mean, he's done nothing but looked up to Cap since Winter Soldier, right? And he's done everything for this guy. And then he gives him the shield and he's just like, I'm going to go donate it to a museum. Like, it doesn't make any sense, like, whatsoever. Yeah. And then the fact too, like, are we really putting it in a museum? Like, doesn't that feel like it would be very easy to steal for any bad guy? Like, we just heard in WandaVision, right, when she wanted Vision's body back, he was like, we're not going to bury, $3 billion worth of vibranium in the ground, and it's like, so we're going to just stick, another $5 billion of vibranium in a museum for someone to just take behind the little glass box. Like, it didn't seem like there was a lot of security there. Like it just seemed like they were asking for trouble for someone to jack that and cause a scene, like this whole thing didn't make sense. Obviously, this is going to, in the end, this is just going to be one of these moments so we could go through 6 episodes. So at the end of the series, when he decides, I am the Captain America, it's got its big moment of, and he's earned it through this series, kind of thing, to where he feels validated by the end of this. But it is a stupid way to get us there. What I thought was going to happen in this was that he was going to take the shield, he was going to start preparing to be the new Cap, and the government was then going to jump in, like the Sokovia Accords or whatever, and then be like, no, like, that's our decision. Give us the shield. You're not allowed to have it. And then go through the journey to try to get it back. That would have been the better way to go, rather than just, I don't want this, put it in a museum where it belongs. So they kind of messed up on that aspect.
And then what kind of irritated me was, and this kind of jumping ahead, he literally looked that man in the eye and said, you made the right decision, knowing what he was going to do. Knowing what he was going to do with that. Yes.
I agree, Don, in RJ, because first off, like you said, you know what you're going to do with that. And also, I thought it was really going to start off that, because we saw in the trailer. Oh, that's a great one to get Killmonger. I know. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah,
take what you want. Take what you want.
And I, in my opinion, I have to agree with both of y'all, RJ and Don, just because when you giving us something so valuable that somebody gave to you, that's like the same as like a kind of like a Christmas gift that you got. And it's like, okay.
And I turned around and gave it to someone else. Yeah.
So, do you guys feel it's a little disrespectful?
Yes.
For him to do that?
Yeah. 100%. We all know how important that shield is. And then for him to just be like, I'm going to not, I mean, if anything, he should hold on to it. I mean, worst case scenario, like at least hold on to it. Put it up on your wall. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Put it in your man cave, bro. Like, what are you doing?
I just think in the trailer that they were hyping it up to the point where he was, like Don said, oh yeah, he already has the shield, and it's like the government may come after him, these flag smashers and all that, but it turns out it's the opposite. And I'm just like, come on, man, you know better. Mm-hmm. So that's honestly my opinion based on that. I think that you shouldn't just give away your Christmas presents, especially if it's from someone who is the original. And you gotta respect the name, and he didn't respect that getting up on the podium, because we even saw how Rhodey pulled him to the side and was like, "Hey man, like, he gave you that shield for a reason. Like, this is why you're here and stuff. It's yours. It's not anyone's property." RJ, go ahead.
Do you think that, because if you think about Rhodey and Sam and how similar they are in a way, It just dawned on me that they both lost their main hero because they're sidekicks. So they both lost their main. So I think that was Rhodey kind of trying to be there for him because he knows what it's like to lose the person you were a sidekick to. Yeah. So I think that's kind of that's another layer on top of that conversation of what made it so important was him saying, hey, you know, Tony knows that I have to continue to do this work. You know, Cap knew that you were the right person to continue on this thing. So why did you do that? And I could sense like Rhodey was a little not irritated, but just like disappointed in the fact that he let that go because that's something that is Cap's shield, man. You had it. He gave it to you. You let it go.
Yeah, that's a great point, RJ. I think because when you lose your first in command, you just kind of are like, hey, I've been through this. You got to, it's like MJ gave me the first pair of shorts. Exactly.
Some stupid kid can't even play basketball. Dumb kid.
RJ, you still have those kids to take care of WandaVision now. So
whatever, them kids. What were you saying, Trey?
I said RJ does not like the kids. RJ before the show too, because there's you see Sam's nephews, and I was like, how'd you feel about them kids? He was like,
no more kids, no more kids.
They don't listen. Like she just told no video games, and they're gonna disrespect her right in front of her face, telling them, "Oh, video games." Man, she should have put them boxes down. Don't listen to nothing. She just told you no video games.
None.
But
they don't listen.
Rude.
And also, Jay brought up a point about the Flag Smashers. I'm gonna kind of jump a little bit. We kind of skipped back to the fella who Sam was working with at the beginning, and he's investigating these. They're called Flag Smashers, right? That's the name of the group.
Yep, Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do we do? And then they all get this notification, and oh boy just jumps out this building. And obviously, he's got some kind of super enhancements, and he got some kind of super enhancement because he jumps out the building fine. He bodies one dude, whatever, and he has on this mask. So my question to y'all is: do you think that this is like who do you think this villain might be? Because I personally think this might be someone who has undergone some kind of super soldier experimentation. The way he was fighting, he was like knocking people like Cap was. So my question is, who do y'all think that this might be? Do you think it's maybe someone we don't really know yet, or
it's clearly a coked up Mephisto. It's clearly who it is.
I don't think it's anybody we've seen yet. But I do think, since we know Zemo is involved, right? And we've already had those Civil War events, and remember Zemo knew where all those like other Winter Soldiers were like kept on ice and all that kind of stuff. It could just be someone else from that experimental program that he actually, saved before all the other ones got killed off, and then now is working for him. Because he's definitely got that Captain America kind of vibes, right? The way his power is, and it's just everything's enhanced. So he's somebody that's been through some sort of super soldier serum enhancement for sure. I don't think, the only outside maybe thought I had was fast forwarding a little bit later on, the guy that becomes the new Captain America, maybe it's him and he's kind of playing both sides. It could be something like that. But I do think it's probably somebody we haven't seen that we'll find out about down the road. But I think it has something to do with Zemo and finding one of those other guys that was on ice, kind of like Bucky was from back in the day.
Yeah, I agree. I think the same thing. I feel like we have to realize in the MCU, what we're experiencing now, we have a lot of people that got their powers through, failed experiments or successful experiments. So I feel like whoever this is, I don't think it's anyone that was born gifted or born a mutant or anything like that. I feel like whoever it is, it has to be somebody who was at one time a known person who got experimented on, received a serum, or something went wrong. I don't think this is anybody that is, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be somebody that we already know. I feel like it's going to be somebody who's a regular person.
Also, when you kind of look at it, most of the people who have superpowers in the MCU are failed experiments from trying to recreate Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That does. I personally think. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be anybody that it's going to just be like, whoa, like that's so unexpected or something. I think it's probably somebody in the show. It could be, because I don't think they're going to introduce a new villain quite yet in the show. I don't expect too many cameos from Marvel, like at least right now. Maybe in like other films and stuff, but I just think it's going to be somebody simple or somebody that maybe we have seen before and didn't expect. But Marvel likes to play with that, so it's unexpected in my eyes right now.
Whoever it is, I feel like it's not the main villain. It's not going to be someone who we're going to be like, whoa. I feel like it's going to be like, oh, okay. It's not going to be a major reveal, whoever it is.
Yeah.
What I will was a brief moment in there where I think it was concerning that dude. They were talking some kind of way, and I was like, oh, maybe they think it's a mutant or something like that. But then I was like,
yeah.
The words, but I was like, it could be a mutant.
I doubt it.
If we didn't get that in WandaVision, we ain't getting it in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right. WandaVision was the perfect time to say it. Yeah, if they're not going to say it in WandaVision,
No.
I hope.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying on that, but yeah, it may not. I don't think it's that. But moving to Sam and Sarah's family dynamic, this was, I guess, it kind of hit home to me because I understand what it's like to, have everything, and then one day things go wrong, decisions are made, and you're on the verge of losing everything, and it kind of showed what we talked about earlier about life after heroing. And you think that he would be on payroll. Like, I always wondered is how do you have an apartment, especially the ones who live in New York City? How do you have an apartment? Like, what do? You work at a grocery store. You work at, like, how are you affording the New York rent? With, like, I don't understand it. So for me, I felt it was really interesting to see Sam struggling, his family struggling, because you would think that after saving the world on multiple occasions, that you'd have some kind of fund, somebody would be paying into you. And he had mentioned when he was at the bank that a lot of it is goodwill. So has the GoFundMe dried up? I don't know. I don't understand.
He's got a Patreon.
He subscribes to Falcon.
Patreon.com/Falcon. Every dollar helps.
Every dollar helps. Every stick counts.
LinkedIn profile.
You're right. I'm telling you, you gotta do what you gotta do. Might see him on other platforms making money. You gotta do what you gotta do. OnlyFans is always an option. I'm just saying, gotta do what you gotta do to keep the bills paid.
We all know his real name is Clarence, and Eminem
it was just really unfortunate to see what he was going through. His sister about to lose their family home, the boat they grew up on. Really, their entire legacy was at stake. So I want to know what you guys think about, how do you feel that why do you feel like heroes don't have any safety now? I mean, the man don't got medical insurance. He doesn't have anything. So how do you feel about what he had to come back to after saving the world? I'll start with you, Trey.
I thought it was really messed up because it's not really a question that I had really thought of before. And so he was like, yeah, where does your money come from? Where does your income come from? And because I just assumed that they're making money off this because they've signed treaties with the Accords, and they're working with the government. They're saving the world. Tony Stark, who's like the richest person out there, but essentially they just don't really even have any money. So I just thought that was pretty messed up, and honestly, just the dynamic of it all really brings more of that just down to earth vibe to it, because he's like, it's like NBA star walking into, it's like MC Hammer going in to get a loan, and then they're like, well, where's your money coming from? Last I heard you went like bankrupt or something like that, So then this basically
Gerald is stupid, man.
was great.
That's my comparison right now. But I just, you know.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
MC Hammer.
Y'all stupid. Gerald though.
Oh man, that's funny. Dad jokes all day.
No, but for real though. Like, yeah, it's so Tony wasn't paid. Tony didn't leave them nothing. Like,
they weren't in the will.
Look, RJ Trey Don. I think that Pepper is now in charge of Avengers Tower. I think she could have helped with some kind of connection or some room to like at least have him stay there. Like, in all seriousness, how do you not have connections to at least some kind of Tony Stark access for helping saving the damn world over and over?
Yeah, there's no hero fund. Like, what?
So I think that, I just think it's messed up that no one has helped any hero out after financially, and it's just Tony's the only one. I mean, he's gone now, and I just think that there has to be some kind of dedication or some kind of space for the Avengers in that big tower, or just to help them get back on their feet a little bit somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Falcon's waiting on a stimulus. Falcon's waiting on a stimulus check to drop. He's like, with mine, yours, the kids, we can get that boat up and running, man, real quick. So don't worry.
And them two little stimulus checks they got running around.
Man,
they said,
yeah. I mean, this is part of what we were talking about earlier, just these moments of realism, right? Like things breathing that we never would have seen before, right? Like him putting a proposal together, being like, hey, I think we can go get this loan and trying. And then, hearing them for the first time. Because I honestly have always wondered where the hell the money's at, right? Like, how are we earning money? They're not on a payroll. Like, you could think they're maybe subsidized, maybe permission through the military. I mean, he did mention he's got military contracts, so that kind of stuff he's getting paid for. But yeah, I mean, like, who's really covering all this? And they bring up, even the banker says, did Stark pay you guys? And he's like, no, it doesn't really work like that. So they address this stuff, and it's actually really, really intriguing to see, to see them being at a bank, being like, I'm famous, I'm a celebrity, like, people know who I am, and we still can't approve your loan, like, that's what a crazy thought.
It's just popping in my head. How the hell did Wanda and Vision how are they about to build a house? Neither one of them got no job.
Vision bought the house, and he's an android, so he probably was doing what he did what Cyborg did in the Snyder Cut, right? He was like moving funds around in the Matrix, and plus remember, it was just a plot of land; it didn't even have a building, so I'm sure it was pretty damn cheap in Westview.
So she's stealing land too, thief.
Well, she just created
that. Captain America also said in Ultron, "I can't even afford an apartment in Brooklyn."
Yeah.
I agree with Takara. I would definitely, like, I need some money going forward. You want me to save the world? You want me to stop that meteorite? That's going to be 100,000. Like now, half later.
I'm a hero for hire.
Hero for hire. We won't play no games around here.
Exactly.
It's just crazy to think that even with him being a celebrity, because I have to think about, let's say if I was a loan officer, and let's just say the greatest female wrestler currently that I love, Bianca Belair. Shout out to Bianca Belair if you're watching. Sorry for being a spaz when I met you. I was nervous. But if she sat down at my desk or whatever and was like, yeah, I need a loan. Approved.
Done.
Like,
done.
Done.
You're an Avenger. You saved the world multiple times. Sorry, can't approve it. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, let me speak to your manager.
Karen,
you know who the hell I am?
Who's in charge here?
Yeah. Like, I can't believe that. It's crazy. I think somebody, Gerald, had pointed out. It's crazy to think that heroes are regular people.
All Falcon had to do was go on Twitter and hashtag that bank and talk some shit, and he would get any loan he wanted. Man, they don't want that bad publicity. You don't want to be the bank that didn't support an Avenger. I mean, come on, jeez.
Have they Cash App when they super suits?
Yes.
They're gonna have to put a QR code on there, and everybody can start scanning.
But before I lift this rock off of you, I need you to scan this QR code to transfer $100.
Here's my Cash App name right here.
I'm telling you, they're gonna be at Comic-Con for real.
I think that with all these laughs and stuff, it's just crazy to see how this show just brought in the reality aspect of it, because no Avengers is like a billionaire. Nobody is Tony Stark, and you think that's how arrogant and selfish and Tony Stark is, because he's not even like, oh yeah, don't worry, I got you guys after I die. But like, we didn't know you were gonna just die like that. Come on,
leave us nothing.
They were living in the compound. They didn't have to pay rent. They were living.
Yeah, but there's no compound no more, right?
None, and just going
Blurt made a point. Sarah did try to tell Sam about reality and that they're not gonna help. She did low key try to tell him like, yeah, okay, they're not gonna give you anything.
Yeah, and like just the guy was just like messing around and just like, yeah, oh yeah, you're Tony Stark, right? And he's like, oh yeah, but still I can't help you because of your records and stuff. And honestly, that hits, man. Like, because that's just like one of those things where it's like, damn, I cannot like afford this, and especially like Sam is a black man trying to come up and trying to like provide for his family the right amount of funds to just start a business, like, and he got his money legally, and he was telling like, how'd you get all this money before and all that? It's like, it's just a lot of hard work, man. A lot of people help out and stuff, And
he's like, well, I've been snapped away for 5 years too, so I'm trying to make my comeback right now. Forget about that aspect.
But I love the humanization of I think the only other show that I can think that does this on this level. No, I wouldn't say the boys at Umbrella Academy humanizes it like this, because I still don't understand how they make their money there either.
Yeah, I agree.
The boys is a bunch of sponsorships and advertisements and stuff. They're getting paid that way because they all had sponsorship.
Yeah, okay.
Like Save the Day and like, today's save is brought to you by.
Okay, yep, you're right about that.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, they're all marketing.
They are. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Well, maybe Falcon needs to take some tips from the boys and spot. Maybe he gets Jimmy John's on his back or something like that, or one of his wings, and maybe he'll be able to eat.
Falcon just needs to get on
Buffalo Wild Wings, man.
Buffalo Wild Wings, yes.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Yes. B-Dub.
Oh man, no! If he like just pulled up on Rick Ross and like own some Wingstop or something, that would be funny.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, after we talked about Bucky's date kind of a little bit, but I want to tag on that a little bit more. And one more thing. So with that with that old man relationship they had, what's his name? Nakajima. Yeah.
Mr. Nakashima, his name is Yori.
Yori, excuse me, yeah. We just saw another side of Bucky, how he's kind of like we didn't know what he was really doing after the events and stuff, and it just kind of took us a different way into diving deeper into his origin, and or after the events of everything, Civil War and all that. He's kind of like this, he's a nice guy, like he's doing this stuff just out of heart and just to help someone out, and we didn't really see that side of him. We saw the relationship side with him and Bucky, but we didn't see the kind side of him because he was kicking everyone's ass. And
soldier,
but is he only being kind to him though because he's trying to make the amends? Like
guilt.
Is it a guilty thing? Like, is it really a friendship, or is it? I think maybe it's evolved into that, but it all started because he was just trying to make amends there.
Exactly, and I think that this relationship. Yeah, they said Bucky's date was bringing the whole mood down. Yeah, because he was trying to. The guy was like, "Hey, like you gotta, let her take you on a date," and he's just like, "Nah." And he's like, "Hey, he would like to take you on a date."
Yeah.
She's like, he's like, "I'm sorry about my friend," and she's like, "Don't worry, like I'll go." And he's like, "Oh."
Can I just say this though? She's a real one though, because I was expecting him to take her out and all of this. She's like, "Oh, I'll grab a couple beers and we'll play some Battleship." I was like, "Yo, you're a real one for that." I wonder who paid for the beers. Did they come out of the tab or did you pay for them?
My first thought was,
you have a GoFundMe?
my first thought was when she said, "I'm off at 10, come back and pick me up," and I'm like, 10 o'clock to start a date? Like, damn.
Yo,
like,
okay. So, all right,
sure.
It's not just you, right? Dude,
yeah, right.
Like right now. I was like, I said, am I getting old?
Yeah.
I was like,
right? I was like 10 o'clock.
I was like, well, we get off here at 10:30 and I'll be tired. I was like, 10 o'clock to start a date.
Like, you mean
like in my Christian household?
Yeah. 10 a.m. You want me to come pick you up for breakfast? What are we doing?
Right now? Like,
yeah. Those are not Christian hours.
You know, I'll say that this is also another kind of thing that's reminiscent of Winter Soldier, because when you look at that, Cap was having dating problems too. Everyone's like, you need to go on a date, go date this girl, go date this. You look at Bucky, he's like, yeah, you're gonna go on a date with this girl. But the difference is he actually did it.
Did y'all peep when they were playing Battleship and then she was staring at him and she said something about she was trying to read his mind and how uncomfortable he kind of looked at that, because he was like, yo, you don't want to read my mind. And I think there's also trauma left over from being brainwashed. So anything that has to do with his mind, I feel like maybe he's a little like guarded on, because he knows what, I mean, not that she's like a Wanda or anything like that, but I think that whole statement made him uneasy. And then when she brought up Yuri's son and that was just, okay, all right, I get you going through stuff, Bucky. That was kind of rude, though. You just dipped on her, like, didn't say goodbye. And you just, like, left.
Yeah.
What do you got to say, Trey?
What if she is like a spy, like a planted soldier, like whatever Carter was planted in Winter Soldier. I forget her name, but
Sharon Carter, Agent 13.
If she is a Sharon Carter for Bucky, and she's
that's kind of far.
Yeah, I'm like, that'd be a crazy ass coincidence, because I mean, she's working at this restaurant. It wasn't even really Bucky's decision to go there. That was where the Yuri guy wanted to go, so it's just, that would have been hella coincidental to be like, she just happened to be there to try to who knows, man, it is MCU. I mean, anything's possible, right? These movies and shows are full of coincidences. So
damn, Shayna, you wanna add him next time? Going in. Cap was wrong for that, though. Cap was definitely wrong for that, though.
Oh yeah. But we pretty much, that's pretty much wrapped up with the Bucky and Sam origin. Just, we see Bucky's therapy session, and we pretty much see that Falcon is going through financial problems. We kind of move into these last two, really last part, but we'll talk about one more part at the end. Is the Flag Smashers, that one scene. So Trey talked about it just a little bit, how the dude jumps, out of the building and all that, and then he just takes out these dudes. And then I forgot Falcon's friend's name, but he gets taken out too. He gets stomped in the head.
Torres.
Yes, thank you. Torres, thank you. And he gets stomped in the head, and he's knocked out clean. But way before that, or actually, after that, when he's talking to Falcon through FaceTime, he's like, hey, you got these guys out here, the Flag Smashers, and it's like, okay, what's going on? He's like, I don't know, but I'm trying to identify them. I couldn't identify them. And Torres asked Falcon, he's like, you don't think they could be? And he's like, no, I don't even want to mention that. Let's just focus on the job. And that right there, I think, was the highlight of the episode for me, because I'm like, they. Now, I mean, it's very interesting. Like, I don't have too many theories on it. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I just want to ask everybody, like, we'll start with Arden. What do you think that moment meant?
With the whole Flag Smashers scene and stuff like that. I'll say this: I enjoyed the scene. One thing I'll say is Torres is got to be the worst secret agent, because if you're infiltrating, I guess, a secret organization, and you show up somewhere where you're not supposed to be, you don't ask, what are we supposed to do? Like, I was like, you just gave your cover away right there, bro. Like, just play along, wait. play it cool. You asking old boy, oh, where are we supposed to be at? Like, clearly everybody knows what they're supposed to do. You're the only one asking questions. You just made yourself stick out like a sore thumb. So worst secret agent ever. One.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like he kind of blew his cover too when he, took the mask off and started, fighting against or he wanted to go save the guy from the cop. Also, I don't know, this whole scene with the whole guy, I guess the strong guy, the one who feels a super soldier, that scene cracked me up. I don't know why I laughed so hard when he slammed him to the ground. And then I wish he had some Timbs on and would just like stomped him out and made it more effective. But I don't know. I found the whole scene funny because I was like, you thought she was doing something and you got knocked out.
That episode,
the whole scene was funny.
I was thinking the episode of Boondocks where he's like, just stomp him down. Like, I can't say it, but it was just funny. Yeah, he got that work, and I agree, RJ. He's a horrible agent. So Don, terrible. Yeah. Don, my man, what you think? What you think about that, man?
Yeah. I mean, going back to your original question about like what was they like? I mean, I'm guessing he meant like a metahuman, somebody superpowered. Something like that. Like, is it something bigger? Could it be an alien threat? Like what? I think he just meant something bigger than just your typical kind of bad guys, right? The scene itself I thought was pretty good. I mean, it was a good introduction to this crew. I mean, you saw them in the trailers. They all had the black mask with the handprint, on them and stuff. And I was curious. I don't know anything about these people. I don't know if they're from the comics. I don't know what. Like, I hadn't seen this aspect of it before. So I thought it was a good introduction. I wasn't expecting anybody to be super powered in this scene. So when the dude jumped down from like the second or third story window and kind of superhero landed and then just kind of walked off and started chucking people left and right, I was like, damn, okay. Like, this is a good added kind of piece to what I thought, because we know Zemo's the ultimate bad guy in this show. We know that, that's where it's kind of going, but this was a cool addition that I wasn't expecting. I thought this was going to be from the trailers, just some kind of ragtag kind of gang that, Falcon and Bucky were going after because they're not crazy super powered. So it's like kind of bring down the threat level a little bit, like kind of keep it more grounded. So this was a good setup. I like the scene, and yeah, the guy was stupid, and I think he should have died in that scene, to be honest, from that kick to the face.
Yeah,
like,
I thought he was dead.
He was just on the phone a couple minutes later, like, oh yeah, my orbital bone. I'm like,
dude, with selfie and everything.
Yeah, I'm like, with how fucking strong this guy was, I'm like, he was straight up like goosh on his head. It should have been flat. It should have been flat.
She's wearing like a said flat.
It should have just been like, put your mouth on the curb. Let's go.
He should have been a pancake.
Yes. His face should have been smashed.
I agree.
Eyeball should have been rolling on the ground.
Yes. You should have been. Your head should have been done. But
yeah, you should have been in a seizure, just flipping around on the ground.
Oh yeah, there's no way he survived that. But Marvel doesn't kill those characters off. I mean, I agree with everything that you said, RJ and Don, because I mean, it's just like this dude. You would think that how hard this dude got stomped, that he did get like New York stomped. It's like you can't just wake up like that. I'd be on the ground. Like,
you would have been in the hospital, dude.
I'm calling 911, and I'm like, okay, I can't move, so just come get me.
Exactly. I can't feel my legs.
But Trey, my man, what do you think about this whole they, and what do you think about the scene as a whole?
So that's when they were talking about they. That's when for a brief second I was like, oh, maybe it's mutants, but immediately after that,
Mephisto.
Mephisto, yeah, exactly.
Probably like some super soldier thing. Nothing I really want, but I just thought I like the whole scene as well. I definitely agree that man should have been a lot more than just his face was hurting. Like,
he's like, I got a headache.
Yeah,
just a flesh wound, just a scratch.
Yeah, exactly. His eyeballs should have been hanging out.
You should have had an eye patch, like for real.
Somebody should have walked by and been like, "Are you all right?
You all right?"
Yeah. Talking like he been smoking for 55 years,
right?
Like, way that he got rocked.
Oh,
man, he should need a face transplant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it all. It was a good scene, good introduction to this villain and this group. I'm definitely excited to see more of what goes on with this and to see whoever's this super powered baddie.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah, so I don't, to answer your question, Shane, I think he's the new, I don't think he's a new Darcy, but I think he's one of the side characters that we're going to get. So in terms of that, I feel like he will be like a side character like Darcy, but he's not going to do what Darcy does. But I feel like he is our kind of C character, if for lack of a better word. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, Darcy's a B plus. So I think Darcy's better than then
Darcy, I tell you what, Darcy would be a better secret agent. She wouldn't be asking what to do when she showed up to the job. She would just blend in.
And she also wouldn't get her face stomped.
I don't think Darcy got hands, so I feel like Darcy would be dead if she took that kick. Darcy definitely would be dead. But for real. But we're gonna wrap it up here tonight, guys. But Don, let everybody know where we can follow you at. Also, his links are down below in the description. But where can we find you at, Don?
Well, I'm sorry, you're skipping the end of the episode, which was the massive big reveal moment.
I was about to say that.
Of a new Captain America. Come on, Reggie.
Oh God, yeah.
They debuted a new Captain America.
Rewind it back.
I'm gonna be like, that's the end of the show, guys.
You know why? Because it irritated me. We hit on it in the beginning, but it irritated me so much. So let's talk about that.
Come on.
I'll let you talk about that, Don.
I'll handle it. Yeah. Dude, yeah. So of course we get, Sam, you got to check out the news right now, right? And there's a big press conference, and it's, hey, the world's in a weird state right now. We don't have any symbols of hope and blah, 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 blah. You knew where it was going. And it was like, so ladies and gentlemen, we need to have a face, a face of America. Here's the new Captain America. And we see a new guy come out with the shield that damn Falcon gave up. And yes, he comes out, and it's this new guy who looks very stupid in the costume and looks just. I'm like, damn. There was a on a side note. There's a really great meme I saw earlier, split down the middle, and it's got the new Cap, and it says, Justice League 2017, and then Chris Evans on the right and says Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? And I'm like, it's the best. It's the best. Because this dude looks all derpy, like, yes, everybody, I'm the new Captain America. Dude, it looks so bad with the helmet on. But it's that big aha moment at the end of the episode, like, oh, there's a new Cap. What is the deal here? Yeah. Hashtag not my Cap for sure.
Not my Cap. Hashtag not my Cap.
It'll be a good storyline. I'm anxious to see where it goes. I do think he's going to turn out to be a villain, and it's going to prove once again why the government shouldn't pick our heroes. So exactly. But a good end, because I knew this was coming. I didn't think it would be in this first episode, so that was a cool ending there.
I gotta admit, I didn't see it. I didn't see that coming either. But go ahead, Trey. Jake.
I was just gonna say, Don. There's also I know we're ending this, but still there's this meme also where it's like, Captain America bats back against U.S. agent, and it's when you order a package and then when it arrives.
Or when you order on Wish. Wish.
And when you order on Amazon. Yeah. I mean, as far as the final thoughts, as far as this final scene, you notice that he has the gun on his hip too, and he has a shield, and it's like, whoa. It's like, whoa. Yeah. Like, why does this man got a gun on his hip and he got a shield?
America.
America.
I didn't see the gun. That's a good call out. I totally missed that.
Yeah, he had a gun on the left. I think it was the left hip, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this is like something different that we're gonna get. Obviously, I won't talk about comics today, but just U.S. Agent is the darker version of Captain America. And with this, I'm like, yo, this is not the symbol of America.
So it is. The gun on his hip, America.
Yeah, that's true. We know how that goes. So this is going to be interesting to see how U.S. Agent's going to be turned to a villain. Like I agree with Don, it's going to turn into that villain.
That's true, Gerald. Yeah.
Yep. So I agree.
What you think about Trey?
Man, I agree. He was like the Dollar General version of Captain America. He came out and I was like, you just look corny, bro. Like,
dude, so corny.
Like you can't go. He looked bad, and I definitely was not thinking that they were going to introduce a new Cap this soon. Like I knew it was going to happen. You know, we see it a little bit in the trailer.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
He kind of looks
so derpy. So derpy.
It's perfect.
Rue from Despicable Me version of Captain America in my eyes. Like he just didn't work. And
yeah.
I'm just interested to see what goes on after that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. He sucked.
He was. It kind of reminds me of like when you go to a store and you see like a fit on a mannequin, you're like, yo, let me get that fit. And then you try it and you look terrible in it. Like you just look whack. Like that's exactly what it reminded me of. It's like, yo, let me get that fit. And you try it on and you just look dirty. Like it's not your aesthetic, it's not your style. It's like, you know, one of my good friends, he's a really good dresser. But you know, let's say if I wear that exact same outfit, it's not gonna work on me because it's not my aesthetic. That's exactly what that reminded me of. It's like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for everybody. And he just looked like he looked goofy, like a straight goofball in that costume, man. It just was terrible. Hashtag not my Cap.
Not my Cap.
Not my Cap. Not my Cap. Hashtag not my Cap. So before we get out of here, let us know, Don, where we can find you at. Now that we've finished the show.
Yes, now that we can wrap it up. You can follow me on Twitter at DXDonMega. I am across all platforms at DXDonMega. Of course, check out my show, Am I on the Air, which is every week bringing you the latest and greatest entertainment news, television, movies, reviews. Check out Am I on the Air at Am I on the Air. Same thing pretty much across all platforms, all your favorite podcast places. So thanks again for having me. This has been awesome. So love being here. Thank you.
Anytime, man. Love having you on the show. Jay, where can we find you at, bro?
Man, y'all can find me on Instagram and Twitch, Snapchat, TikTok now is coming up, and Facebook at Hero Harrison Talk. Got some more podcasts coming up. Got a lot of content with my boys, of course, RJ and Trey. So we got a lot of stuff coming that way.
All right. And Trey, where can we find you at?
Y'all can get me on TikTok and Twitch at Spiderboy Trey, and that's Spiderboy with 2 eyes instead of a Y. And if you don't know why I say that at this point, that's just because I had to be different. You can get me on Instagram at maximum_spider. And yeah.
All right. And you can find me at Avatar Rating across most social media platforms. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at For the Blurcher, as well as the Silver Site. All of our links to our social medias and our podcasts and our content will be linked down below in the description. So before you leave, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, share this video with your friends, and also feel free to reach out to us on social media. Tell your friends to come back next week because we're going to be doing this yet again at 9 o'clock on the dot. Not really on the dot, but you know, we'll be here roughly around 9. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. Can't wait to do this again with you guys on a weekly basis. With that being said, later days, and remember, blurs bond.
Blurs bond.